tukutane Tuesday, that they are going to table a motion to remove the deputy president from office by impeachment. Listen to this.
Si mlichagua Rais William Ruto na mimi? Tikiti moja. Sasa itakuwaje hutaki Gachagua unataka William Ruto? Inawezekana? Kama hutaki Gachagua? Si ndio? Si iko namna hiyo? Si iko namna hiyo?
Wale ambao wanaleta impeachment wajua kwamba wakitoa Rigathi Gachagua wameachana na Mount Kenya region, wajipange kule kwingine wanataka.
Your Excellency, ukioa bibi wa mwanzo, hata ukipata bibi wa pili, tafadhali usifukuze yule wa kwanza.
Si nilimwambia mchagua William Ruto? Si mlimchagua pamoja na mimi? Kama singekuwa hapo, mungemchagua? Mungemchagua? Unajua rais anadanganywa na vijana. Oh, Wameru walikupenda hata bila Gachagua angekuchagua. Ni uongo ama ni ukweli? Ni uongo ama ni ukweli? My brother President William Ruto, hao watu ya Mlima Kenya ni wangwana. Ni wangwana. Walikuchagua wewe na Rigathi Gachagua miaka ngapi?
Right, and on the other side, the offensive has looked like this.
As I speak today, yesterday when I checked with the regions, we have over 260 signatures, and we want to get to 300.
To the extent on whether or when it will be tabled, or if there is, members of parliament are actually competing on who actually should move.
So Tuesday, if the speaker okays it, then it will be on the floor of the House.
From where I sit, I'll say out of what I'm hearing, it is the question on when, not if.
Out of what I am hearing. So who is moving this motion, Honorable Koech?
I don't know the mover yet.
Have you seen the motion?
Yes, that's why I signed it.
How many signatures?
When I signed it, I think we were at 200 and something. I think I'm number 214 there, 215. But of course, I did it way earlier. That was on, I think I did it on Wednesday.
Why do you need 215 signatures?
There's a stampede.
For what?
I've been in Parliament. This is my second time in Parliament. Never seen such a motion being treated with such enthusiasm that I have seen with the Deputy President's impeachment motion. There's a lot of...
What do you mean there has been stampede?
There's a stampede to append signatures by members of Parliament.
Why do you need 215? Because you say you are number 215.
You don't stop it. If the move, it's a minimum. But if
minimum is 117.
It's 117. Yeah. But if there are members of Parliament who still want to append their signatures, the mover then is at the discretion to still collect signatures, as many as possible. Actually, it is to affirm and make the case extremely strong to show that this is how far and how much the members of Parliament are thinking in regards to the impending impeachment.
So what are the details of the motion?
I will not want to go to the details because I'm not a mover, and the Speaker is here, Honorable Cheng. He knows that you don't anticipate debate, but because I've signed it, I'll give you some of the, just for the benefit of the viewers, so that it doesn't look like we don't read what we sign. Number one, and before I even go there, and I did not, I'm at pains really to try and speak about my boss, who is the Deputy President. But this marriage is evidently, irretrievably collapsed. It has reached a situation where I think, in my view, the Deputy President has assaulted his oath of office, totally failed. In fact, if there were no grounds whatsoever to impeach him, the last 2 weeks has provided very solid grounds for the impeachment of the Deputy President. Number one is he's contravened Article 10 of our Constitution. He's promoting tribalism. He speaks about one mountain. The presidency is a symbol of national unity. Who will speak for the Turkana? Who will speak for the Teso? Who will speak for all those other communities, Mijikenda? Who will speak for these other communities if a Deputy President, every single day when he wakes up, his agenda is to advance an agenda of a particular region. They are members of parliament. I'm not saying it's wrong to advance an agenda of a particular region, but there is a responsibility. They are members of parliament who are elected to do that, and they do it very well. The members of parliament from that region are extremely brilliant people. Honorable Mushomba is here. She can advance the issues of Githunguri without necessarily having a deputy president to advance their issues. Number two.
You know, you were saying that and you rebuked me last time for bringing issues of coffee and tea.
Number two is corruption. There are cases of corruption that have been mentioned that I will not want to divulge at this point, but they point directly...
What is the nature of the corruption?
Acquisition of certain properties. In fact, one of the newspapers, one of the dailies yesterday, I think it was a Sunday Nation, did enumerate how, you know, people have, in a short stint in office, people who didn't have those properties, in a very small space of time, have been able to acquire property of billions and billions of money. There is a direct...
From what source?
Don't worry, that one will be prosecuted on the floor of the House by the mover. Number three, okay? Orchestrating chaos against the government that he serves.
How so?
Using proxies. That again will be demonstrated, I hope.
What chaos?
First of all, you remember the demonstration that happened, the Gen Z demonstrations. The first one was very organic. The second one was infiltrated by, and you've seen even some of my colleagues are supposed to be charged in a court of law. It is pointing into involvement by the deputy president, and the mover will, I'm sure, will be articulating.
Has he been investigated on this? There
has been investigation. By the time a mover comes...
Sorry, has the deputy president been investigated on this?
I wouldn't want to go to the details, Sam, but I can tell you they're extremely solid grounds. Okay?
I am not doubting what you're saying. I'm asking a
very
question.
Direct pointer.
Because we saw the DCI presenting some details to the ODPP, and the ODPP agreed there are grounds to charge certain officials, certain MPs, and some leaders that are close to the deputy president. Why is the name of Rigathi Gachagua not on that list, if he's involved?
That is another process. This is another arm of government. That is an investigatory arm. This is parliament. These are grounds for impeachment.
What I'm asking is,
there are grounds good enough to point that the deputy president was involved in using proxies.
How do members of parliament know this?
In orchestrating violence against the population of this country.
What I'm asking is, how did members of parliament learn about this?
I mean, the mover of the motion will be at pains to explain how we got the information.
You signed it.
Where I'm speaking from, I've told you, I do not want to divulge much information about this motion that is coming. I'm simply trying to highlight some of the grounds of his impeachment.
No, I'm just wondering, because the investigative arms in this country, right?
Absolutely.
Members of parliament are not such.
Yes.
So how did they learn that this happened?
Of course, when you're writing a motion, there is a lot of meat that is given from different areas.
Yeah.
You must remember also that the cabinet secretary, Professor Kindiki, appeared before a committee last Thursday and did confirm, indeed, that the deputy president was involved in orchestration of violence.
He said that?
He did, and he even aired it. And he said it points it points to the door, directly to the doorstep of the deputy president. Yeah, in terms of violence. It was breaking news, it was highlighted, and it was explained.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I'll get back to you. Mheshimiwa Ochieng, have you sent the motion?
Not yet.
Why?
Because I don't know what it is. I mean, Sam, no one has spoken to me about this motion. And probably because people know how I think. People know what my reaction would be on this kind of situation. I'll ask questions on why this. But if you allowed me to say something, I just like what's happening. The chicken we hatched in 2013 have come to roost.
It's a very old chicken.
Correct. And I'm happy that now it has to be slain, because in 2013, the marriage between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto wasn't about competence, wasn't about the country, it was about ICC and two tribes trying to get power. All of us know that when Gachagua was appointed deputy president, it wasn't about competence or integrity. It was about tribal mathematics and balancing. And so I wouldn't dignify, especially on the issue of tribalism, I wouldn't dignify my signature because those who are accusing Gachagua and Gachagua are on the same side of the same coin, all dead-in-the-wool tribalists. I wouldn't lend my vote to give any one of them an advantage. Because what Gachagua is doing is what we saw the last 10 years. This blackmailing of the president by their deputy is not new with Gachagua. These behaviors, if this country belongs to two communities, is not new with Gachagua. It is what has been peddled all these years. Yangu kumi, yaku kumi. It's not something new. And so I wouldn't blame Gachagua as I would blame those who want to impeach him. I'm just happy that this whole process is bringing in to focus the requirements of Article 10 of the Constitution. This is the unsung articles of our Constitution. Article 10. The software of our Constitution, the soul of the nation, lies in Article 10. The way of building this country based on ideals, based on shared principles, is in Article 10. And some of these include patriotism, inclusivity, competence, things to ensure that marginalized people are brought on board, everyone else feeling this country belongs to all of us. This is in Article 10. And if impeaching Gachagua will breathe life into Article 10, I will. Because we can't have a country where we know what is ailing us. We know this is a problem. Now, Gachagua is a poster child. He's a perfect example of what bad ethnicity looks like. I hope that if those things that are being said can be proven, and if they are proven, I will vote for it, so that we can be able to show the direction this country should go, that we will not in future... Sam, you've just listened to Honorable Wire there, saying the signatures are being collected through regions. So you take Luos to some corner, tell them, sign to remove Gachagua because of tribalism. Then you put lawyers in some corner, sign to remove Gachagua because of tribalism. Then Kalenjin in some corner, sign because of tribalism. So you're using tribalism to deal with tribalism? And you heard yesterday some guys from Embu Meru saying that if you remove Gachagua, you must bring a Meru. If you remove Gachagua, you must bring a Kikuyu back. What are we doing? It's just banalist. It tells you that as a country, we have so much to deal with. And so I just hope these Kenyans, from wherever they are, understand what's going on now and are noting these things down. On this issue, I believe, and to leave the president out of it, and look at the members of parliament dealing with this. Are they honest in this endeavor? That they want to deal with tribalism? Because the persons who are now watched on TV, the persons who have abused Raila as uncircumcised for the last 10, 15 years. They have abused every Luo. Come on, what wakungoa really? They are now telling us that they're not tribalists. They're the ones who are now very clean, that Gachagua is the most tribal. Okay. So as this go on, I must say that this is a chance for us to reflect on the kind of country that we want to build. All right. A time for us to reflect on whether tribalism is positive and breeds anything good for us. All right. And finally, I hope that should this happen, those in charge are guided. We are looking for a president and a deputy president who will breathe life in Article 10, not who will again start arranging us in terms of tribe that, as a Gachagua Gitoka, you put a Luo. If Gachagua goes, you put a Luya. Again, arranging us for 2027. It will not wash.
That's okay. Dr. Makalimulu, has anyone approached you to sign the motion?
Nobody has approached me.
Why?
Basically because I'm a ranking member in parliament and they know my position.
Wiper.
Sam.
Yeah.
If you look at the ground, just quickly the way... just take the first two. Tribalism and corruption. Who would be able to throw the first stone if all of us were to be accused of those? Even the president can't. If we said now, we have tribalism there and we have corruption there, let now those who claim that the members of parliament like Ocheng and me throw the first stone. I'm telling you, nobody will do. And that's why I was not convinced. The second point is, I think as a country, we have more serious problems, which are actually harassing our people out there, that the issue of Gachagua cannot even be number 100 if we were to list them. It will be somewhere very far. But now, instead of focusing on those, we have over 300 members of parliament who are flocking overseas to sign to get Gachagua out of office.
What is the motivation?
Maybe Coach will tell us. And to make things worse, you are putting us into regions. The Wakamba, those who are in Kenya Kwanza, go there, convince other Wakambas to come and sign. It's nonsense, I'm telling you. And that's why I agree with those Kenyans who are saying, who are Makanga, who are Driver. Both of them. If I would be aware, I would be amending this motion to read that we kill the president, we beat the president and the deputy president, so that we start on a clean slate. And then we can say from that point, tribalism, let it die, corruption, let it die, and all those other grounds they're giving. Because when you look at these grounds, really on a serious note, I think Kenyans, we need to move to the next level in terms of governance. These are things which are killing Kenya.
But
issues of tribalism.
If indeed, as they say, that the deputy president have been involved in some of the violent demonstrations we saw, what is the right place to deal with that? But
what did the Gen Z say? They said we are leaderless.
I'm not talking about, I didn't talk about Gen Z.
You see? No, I'm just saying, themselves, that's what they said. And for your information, let me tell you, you know, these are our kids, Sam. When the few were shot and they went to Kenyatta Hospital and they needed money, I think the government has evidence that those guys were able to raise over 20 million within 1 hour from their own resources without being mobilized by anybody. If they were able to raise 20 million to take care of their colleagues who are in Kenyatta Hospital, I'm asking, do they need any financing from anybody? These are guys who are professionals, they are working, they have money. Those who didn't have money are being supported by those who have money. So I'm not saying that that's good because we have an NIS in this country, we have an intelligence system which could have picked this. But I'm saying when we look at it really, how many riots and demonstrations have we had as a country before, led by us in the opposition, and nobody was accused of financing them. Those were even worse. We destroyed property. We did more worse things than these ones have done. So I'm saying, Sam, for me, I could not sign this motion. I've not been approached by anybody, and I can tell you for sure, even they know, every member knows, even if you take this to Makali, it will be rubbished. Because for me, I believe in things which are for public good.
All right.
So these are diversionary tactics to run away from the undannies of this world, to run away from the problems which are now harassing Kenyans all over the place.
All right. Mushomba, I saw you, I think you were in Githunguri with the deputy president, quite staging a position for the deputy president. And it looks like it's coming to what it has been built to be. And he says the marriage is irretrievably broken. What then?
Yeah, I need to clarify that I hosted the deputy president in my constituency last week on Friday for a special general meeting for one of my most successful coffee society. That's what Honorable Nelson doesn't want me to talk about. He told me not to be speaking about Githunguri on a national television. But the deputy president had come purposely because, you know, he's been the man at the coffee issues. And therefore, he had to come and celebrate the jubilation of my farmers who have successfully been able to revive a coffee society that was collapsed and revive many coffee factories within it, and of course witness the success of a milling, establishment in my constituency. And we, in our speeches, we spoke about, you know, the impending impeachment process that is going on, and he mentioned that he feels betrayed by his boss. He feels if his boss has sanctioned this impeachment, because he said, as far as he's concerned, his boss has not come out to say, I agree we should impeach my deputy. And he says if his boss is for his impeachment, then he feels very betrayed.
Right.
First of all, I want to give my honest opinion on this matter. There's a writer whose book I love reading, who says, failures always look for someone to blame. Failures always look for somebody to blame. Our members of parliament who have signed this impeachment are looking for somebody to blame for the failures of this government. This government has failed immensely. It has failed farmers, it has failed business community, it has failed the church, it has failed the young people. No wonder they were in the street protesting. How do they blame? Whom do they blame? They are looking for somebody to blame. And this whole impeachment, Gachagua, look at the grounds they are bringing. They are all flimsy excuses without any solid reasoning so that they can find somebody to blame to problems. Somebody is very worried that the Gen Zs have just gone calm and they will erupt again because the issues, the fundamental issues that were pushing them into the street have not been sorted. Somebody is very worried. The Privatization Act that we signed is going to bring chaos in this country, starting with the selling of Adani and KICC and Kenya Seed and many other parastatals that are lined up.
That law has fallen, hasn't it?
For privatization. Thank God the courts have nullified it. But somebody knew that that act that they signed, that we passed in parliament in record one day, was the reason why the furnace has been boiling and the volcanicity of chaos is happening in this country. So somebody must divert this whole noise into something. We are actually being kept busy with impeachment ya Gachagua. Dio andani iende. Dio hii maneno ya Chief na SHA, with all the irregularities and unconstitutionalism innate to pass. We are being diverted from the key issues of this country. Maneno ya funding ya university. We are diverting the pressure of the young people from the funding mess to impeachment ya Gachagua. Gachagua sio wa kwanza kusimama kusema anatetea watu wa Mulima. Uhuru Kenyatta defended Mulima fiercely for 10 years. Uhuru Kenyatta talked about even things that we thought are very, closed up in the society that are not supposed to be discussed elsewhere. The Mau Mau roads. He brought Mau Mau roads only for Central Kenya people. Why didn't you say that Uhuru Kenyatta was tribalist? For Gachagua to talk about coffee, which is also in Baringo, is tribalism. For Gachagua to talk about milk, which is also in Kericho, is tribalism. Come on, guys, open your eyes. This whole thing, impeachment thing, is just a game. It's just a skit being played.
What if
and let me ask you, what do you think Kenyans think when they hear that Honorable Nelson Koech has signed an impeachment motion to impeach the deputy president as a critical issue in his constituency, yet his constituents have many other problems that are boiling? Does it mean that our MPs have no other work to do other than just parade themselves in hotels every night to go and scheme and plan on how to remove one person? Do you want to tell me that all the problems you have in this country...
You've been scheming in hotels?
Of course.
Which ones?
Every other community represented in parliament.
Yeah.
The Wakambas, the Kalenjins, the Kikuyus, the Luos, all of them, they've been going into hotels in cocoons of 10, 20 people.
How did you not? You not
Because I am in the circles, I know. I even have a list of who has signed and who has not signed. And by the way, I think Honorable Nelson Koech, you need to tell these people clearly which number you are in that signature paper, because you said you are number 215.
214.
No, the list I have, which has been signed by...
It's the wrong list because you don't have it.
Oh, okay. No wonder. The list that I have, and I can share with you, it has 209, from 209 to 219, the list that there was released. And between 209 and 219, Honorable Nelson Koech, you are not here.
He's just there.
By the number 215 is Honorable Sunkuya George.
No, you don't
Narok North.
You don't have to read.
And it has a.
You don't have to read members because it's not been tabled.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, he said he's number 215. The list that we have, he is nowhere there. You know what they were doing? They took the last page of signature. The last page of signature because they wanted to sell the narrative that everybody is signing. That is why he's talking about stampede. There is a stampede. There is a stampede and we are all members here. We are 3 members here and we did not sign. I haven't finished my submission because I think you had your time.
Sorry.
There cannot be a stampede of signatures and we are 3 members of parliament here from different areas and different parties and we have not signed. I know so many other members who have not signed. But whether they have signed or not, that's not the main issue. The main issue is Gachagua Rigathi Joyfrey the biggest problem of Kenyan voters right now? Are we as members of parliament entrusted by people of Kenya to represent them and advocate for their needs, rightly doing it by giving impeachment of Gachagua a priority for over 2 weeks? That everywhere we go, any rally we do, we cannot speak about coffee, we don't speak about tea. Right now I'm seeing in the papers here, farmers in Kirinyaga, are protesting over poor bonus payment. Yet leaders in Kirinyaga, instead of talking about these poor bonuses, they are every night in hotels, planning, scheming,
Honorable Mushomba,
speaking loud on how they are going to impeach one Joyfrey Rigathi Gachagua.
I hear you.
It is a waste of time. It is embarrassment to the people of Kenya that a National Assembly, a parliament of able leaders, can waste a whole 2 weeks to discuss things that really do not concern Wanjiku.
Even though, fairly speaking, based on the law, it is the role of Parliament to impeach an official that they.
But it's not a priority.
And why it is urgent, Sam? As I
have a question for you, Honorable Koech, because you said that the marriage is has irretrievably collapsed.
Yes.
What is the role of the president in this impeachment?
There is no role of the president whatsoever. The role of impeaching a deputy president.
So who told you the marriage has collapsed?
Is in the Constitution. The presidency is when the presidency, and that is why, in my view, is extremely urgent. When the presidency is unstable, it is a matter of national security. When you have a deputy president who has criticized every organ, who has criticized the judges,
who told you the marriage has collapsed?
Even, first of all, diverging information, secret information to the public.
How did you know that?
Is against the Constitution. To going on a rant against a Director General of National Intelligence Service, going on a rant against the judges of this country, going on a rant against members of parliament. He has.
Sorry, this marriage you're talking about is marriage for who?
It's the presidency. The presidency is a national.
The president and the deputy president.
That's what I said.
Right?
Yes.
Who told you the marriage has collapsed?
The deputy president himself yesterday.
No.
When he was
motion was not written yesterday.
When he was hosted on a talk show, just confirmed what you are saying.
I'm not asking about the confirmation. I'm asking you who told you the marriage between the president and the deputy has collapsed?
The other week on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. And even when he was in Lamu with an Air Force plane, he himself said that there is an issue. And he explained himself, and he said that there is an issue.
So if there is an issue,
really
the solution is to impeach.
That is not a solution. Sam, you are putting me to Q and R situation. I have enumerated why we are going. There's a motion
and
to
I had you
the
right,
president.
and it's on record.
I am not the mover.
But
I said
you have said the marriage between the president and the deputy has collapsed.
Precisely.
Parties to a marriage are the ones that know if it has collapsed or not.
Unless you don't live in Kenya.
No, I live in Kenya.
Yes.
Who told you the marriage has collapsed?
First of all, number one, as a member of parliament, I see so many things that happen. I know when it has collapsed and when it has not. It is evident.
Even if you're not party to that marriage.
It is evident. It is evident. He even himself yesterday said he only does what is allowed.
Again, Honorable Koech, what is the role of the president in this?
There's no role of the president.
The deputy president said there can never be an impeachment motion succeeding in parliament if the president does not have a hand in it.
That is an insult to members of parliament. In fact, he went further to say that we had been paid 5 million. That is an insult to members of parliament.
Has there been any payment?
We have our minds, we have our brains. We know when to apply them.
Has there been any payment?
Payment for what?
I don't know.
Why will anyone be paid to do their constitutional mandate? unless I was doing something that is out of my mandate. I will demand a pay. But if it is my mandate to impeach a deputy president, and it is not the first, impeachment has happened. Honorable Ituri, even in the National Assembly.
It has not been to the level of the presidency.
That's what I'm saying, but it has happened. Impeachment is impeachment. It is only that we have raised the threshold. In fact, Sam, by the way, you should be extremely happy that for the first time in the history of this country, our oversight role is being exercised. Okay, is being demonstrated that members of Parliament can actually even go to the president. Those are the checks that members of Parliament must have.
So, Honorable Ochieng, finally, what is the threshold for this for such a motion?
Of course, in the National Assembly, it's very basic. Once you get the 119, the move of the motion will come and give 117. Move of the motion will come and give notice of motion, and then a time will be allotted for debating the motion. And at this stage, the mover don't even have to prove. That is the issue. The National Assembly at this stage, the mover doesn't even have to prove to us that those allegations he's making or she's making are substantiated. No, as long as he does a motion, it's debated, then the role of now investigating the veracity of these allegations falls on Senate. And that's why this can be done in one afternoon, actually. Yeah, it can be done. The move of the motion comes in, gives the notice. If the speaker is minded, you can, leapfrog this and discuss it one afternoon and dispense with it. That's possible.
Does it matter that the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and the Speaker of the National Assembly have already spoken about this almost in support?
Sam, part of why, like I told you earlier, I believe that if the Deputy President has done any of the three things enumerated in Article 147, then he should be impeached. But impeachment by itself everywhere in the world is a political process. It isn't a purely legal process. It's a political process, and that's why you see politics taking front stage, not legalese. This is a political process, and the questions we've asked to Koech about the presidency and all that are instructive. Okay? And remember that in our country, the speaker, the deputy speaker are from political parties. Okay? I wish they are taking a different stand on that matter. But of course, as Kenyans, they've already, spoken on this issue.
Right.
Now, for me, the biggest problem I have with this whole process is the toll it takes on the country's psyche, the toll it takes on the country's, in terms of soul. I wish there was a way in which we could get adults to speak to these two gentlemen. We could get some wise men to sequester them, the president and his deputy, talk to them, so that we can get to some level of understanding that this country is bigger than both of them, and that we need to have this country dealing with, because cheapening, for example, cheapening the Gen Z, demonstrations. Gen Zs had very concise demands they made. We don't address them. Okay.
Right.
This country is dealing with very many issues today. Students, we have been told that there are more than 130,000 students who have not reported to the university because they can't afford fees, or there's confusion about the funding model. Okay? There are all these things going on, and I just hope and pray that the debate going on adds on to building our democracy, making our democracy stronger. But I also hope Kenyans are watching, Kenyans are listening to this, and that in future, they will never, ever try to tie a tribal presidential ticket, because this is what we get. And this dysfunctional is not the first time. Remember, in the last 3-4 years of the Uhuru Ruto presidency, we had a lot of dysfunctionality.
All right.
And I hope that in future we can dissociate, we can ensure that the deputy president and the president are people who are competent, not from big tribes. Okay. That's what I would say.
Like me and you.
Last night.
Like me and you.
Sam,
who will be the candidate?
Sam, I think just two quick things. I think what Ochieng is saying about the speakers.
Yeah.
The speakers are politicians. But once you take oath of that office, you should be very cautious in terms of what you say. And I think Ochieng is just because he's in the speaker's panel, doesn't want to say what should be said. I think the deputy speaker and the speaker should not have said what they said.
That's what I said.
As the speakers of the House, because they took oath of office and they are supposed to be neutral. The second thing, Sam, there's this common saying which says when elephants are fighting, it's the grass which suffers.
Yep.
Kenyans, you are on your own. These two elephants are fighting. I can tell you in terms of development activities, we are going to face serious challenges. The last one, President Ruto is just getting a dose of his own medicine. Can he swallow it without complaining?
Now, the Deputy President yesterday in an interview said that, and I'll read it as he said it, Rais akiidhinisha ning'atuliwe uongozini itakuwa ngumu sana kwa Wakenya kumwamini tena. Hata hapa Mount Kenya, alisema mchana kwamba mimi nitaketi vizuri na naibu wangu, sitakubali ahangaishwe, ateswe. Hiyo tayari inafanyika. Sasa akiidhinisha ning'atuliwe, sasa yeye kuaminika tena, hata akienda kanisani hata aminika tena. Kama yeye mwenyewe atasahau hiyo, anigeuke na kunitesa, wananchi wetu ambao ni Wakristo wanashangaa. Atakuwa na shida. Afikirie vile anataka kufanya na ajue atakaa na Wakenya aje. And so many other things that he said about even the place of Raila Odinga, that kama watu wake watapiga kura kunifukuza, Wakenya watajua wamekuja kuharibu, kutakuwa na confirmation kuwa yeye ni mtu wa kuharibu. Wakitufukuza serikalini, itaharibika. That's what the Deputy President said. I don't know what that means in his own words. I want us to take a look at the feedback on what Kenyans are saying this morning. Raphael, you're saying that ask these MPs these questions. Is Gachagua the reason roads are not built? Is he the reason hospitals are collapsing? NHIF, teachers striking, doctors striking, civil servants striking. What has the DP stopped from being implemented by the president? Ndeshmo, it's so convenient the Vipindi impeachment have come after the Adani Chronicles, instead of passing motions that would benefit Kenyans. Anyways, 2027 isn't far. Crispina Adams, it is an irony that the things DP Gachagua is being accused of by a section of MPs are the same things, the same MPs, some CSs who have accumulated millions, and the president, that is William Ruto, is being accused of by Kenyans. Senator Siaya 2027, are you campaigning with your name? If tribalism is being used as the primary justification for the Deputy President's impeachment without any clear or substantiated charges, then the President should follow suit, as the grounds for his impeachment are more compelling. Alex Wanyandarwa, we all know the DP wasn't involved anywhere in the funding Gen Z. We are used to these games. They are just trying to look for reasons to impeach him. When you see everyone in UDA aiming at Rigiji, it shows he's the only person doing his work accordingly. Eddie, how many KNH can 104 billion shillings construct? Or how many level 4 hospitals can 104 billion shillings construct? I'm asking this because the 104 billion system already looks like a scam, going by the lack of transparency or transparent explanation on how it will work out better than NHIF. Sir Nixon Dugire, Honorable Koech, supposing the President announces today that his marriage with DP Gachagua is still manageable, would you still continue with regard to his impeachment? And MC Rumaz, you're saying, let the MPs focus on development. Some MPs are so loud on petty things like the impeachment of DP Gachagua, while their constituencies are pathetic. For example, MP for Belgood should focus his energies on championing for tarmacking of pothole-ridden Kapsoit Sondu Road.
It's under tarmac, as we call it.
It's being tarmacked.
Yeah, tell that person to be visiting home quite once in a while.
Okay, so rumors you bring us to visit home, that the road is under construction. You let us know next time we have Honorable Koech if that is the case. But that's our time. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Gatheno Mushomba from Githunguri, Mheshimiwa Dr. Makali Mulu from Kitui Central, Nelson Koech from Belgut, and David Ochieng from Ugenya constituency for making time for us. Up next is Matter Sporty. My name is Sam Gituku. See you again soon.